here we go for the final time. We are free! Oh, they make contact! A terrible crash! And good evening, everybody, and welcome here to the final race of the first half of the regular season here, of the final season, Season 10 of the NNSCRA Snickers Cup Series. That's right, folks, after tonight, we head over to Dragonette for the final All-Star Race weekend in Snickers Cup Series. A lot of drivers have already locked themselves spots in. As a matter of fact, up to this point, I believe we have only maybe about a third of this current field that will be racing in the Snickers Shootout. A lot of these drivers already locked into the All-Star race, but for some of those drivers that have not yet locked themselves in, if they win here tonight, boom, they're automatically entered into the Snickers Cup Series All-Star race, the final All-Star race of Snickers Cup Series history. But tonight, we focus on race number 13 here at Darlington Raceway. The Lady in Black, the place that's known to give drivers a little souvenir before they go home, known as the Darlington Stripe. This is a track where there's high speeds, but not a whole lot of room to pass, which is where those Darlington Stripes come in. A lot of times, even too wide can be a treacherous thing here at this particular racetrack, but this kind of track has brought about some great finishes. Think back to Kurt Busch and Ricky Craven, the fender-bending finish they had. We've had some great finishes here at Darlington in the past, and ready to go racing here tonight, as it's an all Richard Petty Motorsports front row. Austin LaPlante and Joshua Collard, two drivers who come into the top 10 in points tonight as well after great runs last week at Charlotte. They will start on the front row. LaPlante, already a former winner this season at Phoenix, comes into this race now in the top 10 in points. He came in, he jumped up to 10th in the standings after last week's race at Charlotte, and alongside of him, his teammate Joshua Collard, still looking for his first win of the season, but still having a very consistent season, moved up 2 spots in the standings to 5th last week, and that's where he currently comes into this race. Then there's a couple of other drivers that have been having pretty stellar seasons. Trent Dunham, Daytona 500 winner, comes into this race 3rd in points, and alongside of him, the current Rookie of the Year leader in the point standings, and that is Austin Mongold, who is right now 9th in the current points. Now, he did end up having a DNF last week at Charlotte, dropped him 4 spots in the standings, but still has been having a pretty strong season. So, we're getting ready without further ado to get these cars rolling off, and we'll show you your starting lineup and get ready to go racing as we're going to go down trackside now as South Carolina's own Jessica Shelton gets ready to give us those most famous words in motorsports.
Everyone but Stephen Pollard III, start your engine.
Pace car rolls off, and the 42 cars will follow him around tonight's event, Darlington Raceway. Points coming into this race as you take a look at your starting lineup on the bottom of your screen. Dougie Shears, with his victory last week at Charlotte, is now the new points leader, jumped up 3 spots to take the top of the point standings leaderboard. Second place is going to be Joshua Michaels. Trent Dunham is 3rd. Dylan Poteet dropped 2 spots last week to 4th. Joshua Collard's now 5th. Jacob Lawler, our winner from Texas, he is in 6th. Seth Cole moved up a couple of spots to 7th. John Citadino's been falling through the standings the past couple of weeks. He's now 8th. Austin Mongold is 9th, and Austin LaPlante completes the top 10. The top 10 in points separated by only 57 points. As here we go, pace car has pulled off. The field comes out of turn number 4. It's time to go racing for 37 laps. LaPlante and Collard, teammates, get us underway. We are green flag racing here tonight at Darlington Raceway. This race can go one of two ways. It could be a nice clean race or it'll be a wreck fest. We've had it both ways before here whenever we come to Darlington. Which kind of Darlington race will we have here tonight as LaPlante gets ahead? Trent Dunham moves to second. Brandon Gonzalez, sporting a new color on his number 23 Mitsubishi, now moves into third, but not for long. Danny Wells now looking low for that position with teammate Dylan Pote behind. There you see Joshua Collard. I think he got up into the wall. First driver to receive a Darlington stripe here tonight. And they complete lap number 1 without a yellow. That actually quite surprises me. Watch these guys in practice, which of course took place during the daytime conditions, and these drivers are having a lot of difficulty with grip, but here being nighttime, I guess they're able to get, with the cooler temperatures, a lot more tire grip in the corners. Don't appear to be pushing it quite as hard as they were before in practice either, as Dylan Pote will slide by his teammate Danny Wells for the third position. Here's a battle between the two drivers battling for Rookie of the Year honors. Mongold currently sits in the 5th position, DJ Curtis right behind him in 6th, but the caution flag is out for the first time tonight, coming out here on lap number 3. So yellow flag for the first time tonight. Like I said, I was surprised they completed the first lap under green, but I guess it was too much to hope for that we'd go into a long green flag run. Oh, it looks like Johnny Gardner, the reason for this one. Gardner, just outside the top 10 in points in 12th, collected in whatever this was, smoking heavily. Chris Washer also collected. Washer, after last week's race, was up to 16th in points. Oh man, James McLeod and Stephen Pollard III, two drivers who have really been struggling in points outside the top 35 in standings. They are badly damaged. Cole Daly, I don't know if he was involved. I think these leaders are all coming to make pit stops. They are. So they're coming down pit road. All the leaders hitting the pit lane. Let's see if there may be a battle off pit road, as Austin LaPlante, who started on the pole position, will get the benefit of the first pit stall. And we'll see if that's going to get him off pit road first. Looks like they're going to be going for at least right side tires on most of the leaders. We'll see if they're going to go with a full 4-tire stop or not. Nope, Trent Dunham, 2 tires, he's down the way, and he's going to beat LaPlante off. Danny Wells second, Dylan Pote third. It was Tweenix, 1, 2, 3 off the pit lane. Dunham, Wells, and Pote, 2 of which have been to victory lane already this season. Danny Wells has not. So we are under caution for the first time here tonight at Darlington. Let's take a look and see what happened to bring out this first yellow. This was going down into turn number 3. This was just outside the top 10 as well. So I think it was a battle for the 13th position. Johnny Gardner going to try and make a move there on his good buddy James Qualls. And there's contact. Oh man. Those two are actually now new teammates, as a matter of fact. They've merged, ML Motorsports and Gardner Racing, Gardner Motorsports. Jessica Shelton caught up behind this as well as she gets a little bit of damage. And then here come the rest of the drivers. James McLeod nowhere to go. Cole Daly did get a slight piece of it. Chris Washer as well, as Johnny Gardner's car goes flipping around, barrel rolling there in turns 3 and 4. And there was another driver with a lot of damage, and that was Stephen Pollard III. I don't know where he gets involved. Oh, wow. The 6 of Nathan Hudson gets a piece of it. But where is the 06? Oh, there he is. I don't think he's hit anybody yet, because he doesn't have the hood crunched up. Oh, here it is right here. Johnny Gardner trying to get his car turned back around, and comes right down in front of Stephen Pollard III. Like I said, it's very difficult to pass here with the way that this track is configured. It's also very difficult to try and avoid a wreck, especially to go from 150 miles an hour all the way down to 0 in a split second. And there you can see the result. James McLeod, Cole Daly, Nathan Hudson, Stephen Pollard III all getting damage from not being able to really have any reaction time to slow up after Johnny Gardner and James Qualls, a couple of teammates, make some contact in turn number 3. Well, the lights are out atop the pace car, which indicates we will go back green next time by. It'll be on lap 7 of 37, giving us a 31-lap race to go. Trent Dunham leads his 2 teammates, Danny Wells and Dylan Pote. Dunham winning Daytona, Pote winning Auto Club and Las Vegas the following 2 weeks after Dunham's Daytona 500 victory. Danny Wells was close to maybe closing in on a victory at Bristol, you'll remember, and then he ended up getting wrecked by his teammate Dylan Pote under the caution flag. So Danny Wells looking for some redemption here. As a matter of fact, Danny Wells comes into this race 31st in the point standings. After last week's race at Charlotte, he dropped 8 spots in the standings. So he's not only outside the top 30, but he's winless. So if he could win here tonight, that would help him to move up into the top 30 in points and give him a potential spot at getting a slot for this season's chase for the championship. Remember, Danny Wells last season was a 3-time winner. Chris Washer will line up on the inside, 1 lap down, but we do have 2 drivers make that 1 driver out of the race, and that is the car of Johnny Gardner. The other drivers all were able to get their cars repaired, have returned to the racetrack, and are ready to go back green. Waiting on the flagman. And there we go, green flag is out. Boy, this flagman's waiting until they get right up here to the start-finish line before he throws the green. Whoa, look out there, DJ Curtis thought about making a move. And the lap car of Chris Washer was in his way. Now I think he's going to go for 3rd place off of Dylan Poteet. So DJ's team did a great job of getting him off pit road ahead of Austin Mongold. Mongold, for the last couple of weeks, really has been running away with Rookie of the Year honors. He's been the highest finishing rookie for a number of races. So DJ Curtis now going to try and see if he can battle back here tonight and then during the second half of the regular season. Poteet, though, strong on the outside, going to try and keep that spot, but DJ Curtis going to get to the inside line there in turn 1 and take over 3rd place. Now Austin LaPlante, the pole sitter, who lost some spots due to that rather lengthy pit stop. He's now trying to fight his way back. Now he's going underneath DJ Curtis, and that is for position number 3. Meanwhile, up at the front, it's the Tweenix Racing drivers, the Tweenix Racing teammates. Trent Dunham look for his 2nd win of the season, which would pretty much, I would say, lock him into this season's chase for the championship. Only 1 driver's been to victory lane twice this season. That's Dylan Poteet, who's all but confirmed. But Danny Wells, like I said, he hasn't been to victory lane yet this season. He wants to get a 4th win for Tweenix Racing for the 3rd different Tweenix Racing driver. You know, I was also looking during that break at drivers that they have wins this season, but they're not doing that well in the point stands and really need to step it up if they're going to have any shot at making the chase for the championship. One of those is Richard Johnson. After last week, he dropped back outside the top 35 in points. Now, he's got that win at Talladega, but in order for him to have that win give him a spot in this season's chase for the championship, he has to be inside the top 30 in points. And now another driver that might be in danger is Jessica Shelton. We saw her get a slight piece of that incident between Gardner and Qualls. Well, she came into this race 27th in the point standing, so only 3 spots ahead of that dreaded 30th place in points. Now we'll see where she's running right now as James McLeod's coming to pit road. He's been actually making multiple stops on pit lane. There is Shelton right now in the 30th position. And some of the drivers she has to worry about include Pichu London, Zach Buchanan, and Sean Henley. See if we can find any of them. There's Pichu London, just a few cars ahead. There's Henley, he's ahead, and Zach Buchanan. I don't think the 09 is ahead of him, though. Where's the 09 at? There's the 09, back in 36. So Shelton at least will stay ahead of Zach Buchanan at least to this point. But as far as Henley and London, that could be a problem. And of course, Danny Wells, we mentioned 31st in points. He's running in the 2nd position. So there are quite a few drivers running better than Shelton. As Seth Cole is way off the pace here, back in the 40th position. Came in 7th in the point stands, had a great run last week at Charlotte. But 40th position, actually just ran his fastest lap of the race too, if that can be believed. And there's James McLeod. McLeod's still running, but he's actually just trying to log laps here. It's been a struggling season for that Tweenix Racing driver, but it's Tweenix Racing 1-2 at the front. Trent Dunham and Danny Wells. LaPlante has now gone to 3rd. Austin Mongold now moving to 4th place. As those 2 Fords battle, Dylan Poteet's been losing spots. He restarted 3rd. He's now back to 6th as now Bob Jones has cracked into the top 5. There's Brandon Gonzalez, defending champion, winner at Pocono. Trying to go to victory lane here tonight. As a matter of fact, the defending winner of this race, where is he? There he is. Anthony McCrory right now in the 13th position, battling with Levi McIntyre and Charles Jackson. There's Joshua Collard, who started in 2nd this race, and he's all the way back in the 14th position. Anthony Curry put Audi in victory lane for the only time for Kyotech Racing last season. Audi went to victory lane, of course, with two other drivers, TJ and Ty Dent, but they weren't driving for Kyotech. As we move back up here to the front, there's Kyle Matthews. Talk about a driver who's really trying to come back. Now, he had a pretty decent run last week at Charlotte. Moved him back up to 13th in points. Right now, he's inside the top 10 behind DJ Curtis. And how about Joshua Michaels? Had a very dismal run last week at Charlotte after he's been so consistent pretty much since Watkins Glen. And now he's up here in the 8th position, so watch out for him trying to make a comeback. As a matter of fact, the points leader, Dougie Shears, if I'm not mistaken, I think I saw him back around the area that Jessica Shelton was at, running the red marine scheme. There he is. 31st place is where he's currently running. So Dougie Shears at maybe one and done as far as leading the point standings for a week. Now we've got Shelton gone on by, Silver Fox, James Qualls, Lyndon Wright right there on the inside line as well as their freight training. Dougie Shears, number 21. He'll lose a spot as well to the damaged machine of Stephen Pollard III. So I think he's all the way back now to about the 35th position. So, yeah, it's looking very much like he's not going to be leading the point standings after this race. It could be Trent Dunham who might be leading it. Now, Michaels is running in 8th. Trent Dunham, who's got the bonus point of leading a lap and may end up leading the most laps at this rate. He came in only 5 points ahead of Joshua Michaels, so for sure Trent Dunham would pass Joshua Michaels in the stands if things were to finish the way they are now. And I think Trent Dunham would go back to the top of the point standings. Another driver that comes in running in the point stands that we haven't found yet is Jacob Lawler. Where is the 5 at? There he is. Running the Terry Labonte throwback scheme tonight. He's got his teammate in front of him and a teammate behind him. Benjamin Miles in the 84 just ahead. Cole Daly in the 88 just behind. And you got John Cittadino back there, 8th in the stands. And Michael Norman, who's been on a skid, 14th in points just behind him. This is back just between 25th through 30th. So a lot of drivers maybe going to have to rely on possible pit stops. I don't know. They've all pitted back on lap 3. There you see McLeod making another pit stop. He's been just trying to maintain minimal speed. They've been coming down pit road every single lap. But lap 3, they would have had to have gone about roughly 34 laps on 1 tank of fuel. I don't know if they're going to have to make green flag pit stops or not, or if they can make it the rest of the way. But if they can make it the rest of the way, it's looking like it might be Trent Dunham's race to lose, because he has just been dominating ever since he got out in front. And that chance that he got out in front was when his team got him off pit road first. Trent Dunham has not looked back since then. His teammate Danny Wells keeping him in his sights, but Danny's not been able to do anything to reel in his teammate. And we know that the Tweenix boys will race it up with each other. There's James McLeod pulled up in front of the leader, now pulls back down to the apron as he's going to come back down pit road. Think back to Auto Club, Las Vegas, Seth Cole and Trent Dunham and Dylan Poteet all fighting tooth and nail for position. Dylan Poteet giving the bump to his teammate Danny Wells under caution at Bristol, which took Danny Wells out of the hunt for that victory. So, you know, these Tweenix boys, they all are teammates, they all are friends, but when they get on track, it's every man for themselves. Trent Dunham last season, let's not forget, he went winless the entire year. Did not have a victory, and that was one season after he went to victory lane 3 times back in season 8. So Trent Dunham trying to get the old season 8 mojo back, and it certainly has looked like he's had it this season. He has not fallen outside the top 5 in points since Daytona. He has been in the top 5 in the standings every single week, and it looks like tonight's going to be no different. So it's been a very strong season, his first half of the season, regular season, for Trent Dunham. Quite honestly, I'm not sure, with maybe the possible exception of Joshua Michaels, that any other driver has had a better first half to the season. The only difference is Dunham went to victory lane, Michaels has not. So I would say that more than likely Trent Dunham's had the best first half out of anybody. Dylan Poteet might be a close second since he's been to victory lane twice here in the first half of the season. And look at Danny Wells I don't know if Trent's saving fuel or if Danny Wells caught the draft or what, but Danny Wells is now up there and he's ready to battle his teammate Trent Dunham for what could potentially be this victory. Both drivers out of Tweenix Racing. Dunham won the Daytona 500. Danny Wells still looking for his first win of the season, and now Brandon Gonzalez is starting to catch up here, and oh wow, Danny Wells must have messed up that corner or something, as he just lost some ground to Trent. Trent opening it up again by about maybe 4 car lengths. Now here comes Danny Wells getting the run again there through turn 2. Looks like Danny's better through 1 and 2. Trent's better through 3 and 4. And while these two continue to battle, they better watch in the rearview mirror because the Mitsubishi Lancer of Brandon Gonzalez is coming and Trent Dunham is coming to pit road. So the green flag pit stops, which I was wondering if they were going to happen, they are. And Trent has hit the pit lane. Is anybody else coming down this lap? Yep, DJ Curtis now coming down along with his teammate Charles Jackson. I don't know if anybody else is coming. Tim Walsh, Pichu London. I think London ran into the back of somebody. Got a little buckle on the hood of that Pennzoil Ford. Michael Norman, James Qualls in along with Stephen Paul III, Zach Buchanan already getting service. And Brandon Gonzalez got by Danny Wells for the lead, but Danny's coming to pit road anyway. Danny might have actually let Brandon go because he was planning on coming to pit road this time. Didn't want the 23 to run him over. It's like Austin LaPlante's in. Joshua Michaels, Bob Jones, Ryan Acosta, William Duncan. There's McCrory, McIntyre. Here come a whole host of other cars. Kyle Matthews, Collard, Lamas, Johnson, Miles, Henley, Lawler. Looks like all the Hendrick Daly cars coming down. There's Shelton, her teammate Charles Sanford, Dougie Shears, the points leader, James Silverfox, and now Brandon Gonzalez will give up the top position. So now the big question is going to be, who's going to come out in front? Is it going to be Gonzalez? Is it going to be Wells? Or is it going to be Trent Dunham? It looks like Austin Mongold's now in pit road. Dylan Poteet also now hitting the pit lane. And there's Trent Dunham. Now he's going to bypass Brandon Gonzalez on pit road, but I don't know if he's going to cycle back around to the leader or not. There's LaPlante, his service done. So we got to jump to the 23 car. See if he'll come out ahead of anybody. He's yet to even hit his pit box to make a pit stop. And now he's in. Mongold just ahead, Poteet just behind. And those are the last of the drivers to hit pit lane, if I'm not mistaken. I believe Sean Galligan, Dylan Young, Chris Dollerton also stayed out that extra lap and are now on the pit lane as well. So this lead will cycle around to either Danny Wells, Trent Dunham, or Brandon Gonzalez. The question is, which one? There you see Trent just got around Brandon Gonzalez. I think Trent might cycle back as the leader. About to put Seth Cole off the lead lap. That's his teammate there. And now here comes his other teammate, Danny Wells, right on the back bumper. I think this is the battle for the lead right now. After the cycle of pit stops, you got Trent Dunham and Danny Wells. The lap machine at the tail end there of Charles Sanford just ahead. Seth Cole, who I think is on the tail end of the lead lap. And here comes Danny Wells to the bottom. They hit the stripe. Was Trent the leader at the line? No, Seth Cole was the leader. Seth Cole's the leader of this race. So Cole leads. Wells now moves to second past Trent Dunham. DJ Curtis is now up to fourth, and his teammate Charles Jackson is now in fifth. And whoa, Seth Cole holding up there, Trent Dunham on the high side. Trent Dunham trying to find his way through, and he's not been able to. DJ Curtis also losing spots as Danny Wells now shoots out to the lead. Now has a lap machine between himself and the second place driver, now Charles Jackson. But Trent Dunham and DJ Curtis stuck on the high side now behind a car that is either slow or something. I don't know, but Seth Cole just lost it and really bailed out of the throttle there in that one corner. And now Trent's going to lose some spots. DJ Curtis going to lose some spots. And Danny Wells, by about a half second, is leading this race over Charles Jackson. 7 to go at the line. Brandon Gonzalez now shot up to third after that stack up on the high side. Joshua Michaels now to fourth, and I believe Ryan Acosta has now cracked the top 5 in the 16 Granger Ford. LaPlante now to 6th. Daly is 7th. Tim Walsh 8th. Mongold 9th. And William Duncan now has cracked the top 10. These two right here, former contenders for the championship last season. Danny Wells and Charles Sanford both going to victory lane 3 times last season. Danny's wins coming earlier on in the season. Sanford's coming late in the season. The both of them having rather struggling seasons so far, though. Charles Sanford actually comes into this race outside the top 30, or no, comes in this race 17th in points, I should say, and Danny Wells comes into this race 31st in points. So neither one is doing particularly well, and both are looking for their first win, even though Charles Sanford is a lap down right now. He would not be a contender for this win, but he could be a factor and maybe get racy with Danny here and end up causing Charles Jackson to close in, maybe close on his first win in what would be 3 seasons. Went winless in season 8. Caution! Caution is out. This changes everything. Yellow flag waving when they hit the stripe. There'll be 4 to go. I very greatly doubt we'd get back to green. I think Danny may have this win. Curious to know where that wreck actually happened too. I saw some smoke lingering in the turn 3 area. Can only assume that's where it probably took place, but Danny Wells is hoping that that's going to be a caution that will end this race under yellow. Remember the last time he was out in front leading when a caution came out? He got wrecked at Bristol by his teammate Dylan Poteet. Here tonight, hoping that same kind of thing won't happen, as he is the leader under what's more than likely going to be our final caution of the evening. Brandon Gonzalez was able to beat Charles Jackson for second. Jackson's now third, Michael's fourth, and Acosta fifth. Let's take a look at a replay of what brought out the yellow flag to possibly finish this race under caution. Well, Seth Cole had to be damaged or something. He had come down pit road a lot earlier than these other guys had, so that's why he was out as long as he was and actually had been able to lead a lap. But now he's got everybody stacked up behind him, including his teammates Trent Dunham and Sean Galligan, who had fallen all the way back to just outside the top 20. And Seth Cole is going to decide to make a pit stop here while these guys are all stacked up. There you see, I think there might have been a bump from Joshua Collard to James Sowerfox, and he pushes Jacob Lawler up the track, and right there where the safer barrier juts out in turn 3, Jacob Lawler ends up hitting that. Spins in front of the field, including the points leader, Dougie Shears. And that's a tough break there for the driver of the Kellogg's Chevrolet. Jacob Lawler, who's been moving his way steadily up through the point standings, not exactly having the best of nights tonight. Wow, gets split there by Nathan Hudson and Chris Washer, 2 other damaged machines. But that's what brought out the caution. It all kind of came back to the slower car of Seth Cole. And that is what pretty much brought the yellow flag out. So that's what put it under the caution. Let's go back and see now if this race will end under green, or will they get this track cleaned up quickly enough for maybe a 1-lap shootout. The white flag has just been displayed over the hood of the Rockstar Energy Chevrolet, and the lights are still on atop the pace car, which means this race is going to end under the yellow flag. So we had a caution to start the race, went into a long green flag run, and then with about 4 laps remaining, the caution came out once again, and the race will end under the yellow flag, which means that the third driver out of Tweenix Racing will be going to victory lane this season, and Danny Wells will be finding victory lane for the first time here in Season 10. Like we mentioned before, midway through this race, Danny Wells came into this race 31st in the point standings without a win. Now he'll have a victory and more than likely be back up inside the top 30 in points. He's just got to be consistent for the second half of the season to possibly clinch himself a spot in a battle for his second straight chase for the championship. Brandon Gonzalez is going to come up just 1 spot short. He'll end up finishing second. Charles Jackson, a great finish for him in third. Fourth place for Joshua Michaels, who I think could very well take the points lead over now, as he'll finish in fourth. Ryan Acosta is going to get fifth. Pole sitter Austin LaPlante will get sixth. Seventh, Tim Walsh, and it's Austin Mongol, William Duncan, and Bob Jones completes the top 10, as Danny Wells will cross the line, and he picks up the victory here tonight at Darlington Raceway. So Danny Wells, maybe a little redemption from Bristol, a track that he was very good at. He was one of the top contenders for and ended up getting taken out under caution. Well, it's a caution that ends up helping him here tonight at Darlington to pick up the victory and go to victory lane. That's the 4th win of the season for Tweenix Racing, and their first one since Las Vegas. Been a bit of a winless streak for that team that won the first 3 events of the season. So Danny Wells gets it done here tonight, basically on a dominant car. He also got a little bit of help as far as the green flag pit stop cycling and the slower machine of his teammate Seth Cole. But Danny Wells still had one of the strongest cars of the evening, probably one of the top 3 strongest cars. He, Dunham, and Gonzalez were probably the 3 that were going to contend for this victory. And Danny Wells is the one that comes out on top. So this should put him in a pretty good situation heading to the next half of the regular season, the second half of the regular season. Thank you all so much for watching tonight's event here from Darlington. If you enjoyed tonight's race, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe, to become part of the crew today. We'll show you now your full finish results from tonight's race, as well as your overall points and your rookie standings going into next week. Austin Mongold, again, rookie of the race here tonight at Darlington. Folks, next up is going to be non-points racing. That'll take place from Dragonette Super Speedway as we get ready for the final all-star race in Snickers Cup Series history. We'll have the Snickers Shootout and the Snickers Cup Series All-Star Race. That's going to be coming your way next here. Hopefully you'll tune in for that. And then we'll be getting the second half of the regular season and putting the chase field together for those final 10 races for the final Snickers Cup Series championship battle for the championship here in Season 10. We'll see you guys next time as you've been watching a production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best. I was attacked by the Mafia and a serial killer, and I was haunted by the Jester. I died!
Oh, what?
Whoa!
The
Whoa!
Stop it, a win! A big win! The arsonist won!
Motion like what's here. It is good. I didn't know you. Where you going? Can I just now?